Hello, and welcome back to My Sheep Know My Voice. I am Lori Miller, and this podcast is a ministry of Destiny Christian Church. Thank you for tuning in. Well, here we are in 2025, and I wanted to take a minute as a look back of 2024. If you recall, at the beginning of 2024, I did a podcast on what I heard the Lord saying about 2024, and I wanted to review that. And I hope that in these, we're on the sixth day of January, first Monday, first full week of January. And you may be feeling tired still. You may be feeling unfocused. And I'm here to say that's okay. If you recall, the word that I had for the year 2024 was that it was going to be epic. And when we talk about the meaning of the word epic, it could be noun, it could be an adjective. So there's different meanings for it. One being that it means extraordinary. And many times when we say the word epic, that's what we think of, something that has been extraordinary, that is fabulous, that it's above expectations. But also it means long, and it means in the sense of an epic poem. It's a very long poem that centers around a hero. And so epic is that it takes heroic effort. And so when we think of 2024, there may have been some, very extraordinary moments. And it may have felt very long, that you had to endure, that you felt like you had to be a hero through it. And so some other things that I said about 2024 tying in with the word epic was that 2024 you would see breakthrough. So I hope that as you do inventory of the year, if you go back and look at all that the year had for you, the good, the bad, the in-between, I hope that you experience some breakthrough in areas of your life. All right. Another thing that I had said in that podcast was that it was a year to throw off things that were holding you back. Throw off things maybe that were incorrect, that were not going to be needed any longer. And also that it would take some endurance. That 2024, may feel long, and it was going to take some endurance, and God was going to teach you endurance through 2024. It was going to teach us to be heroic. When you have to go through a long process, or it's just, a lot on your plate throughout the whole year, it takes a hero to overcome and to get through. So God was teaching us to be heroes in 2024. He also was striving to, or helping us to mature in our healing. That I've talked about trauma before. I'll be talking more about that in 2025 this year. That he wanted to mature us in our healing. That the healing had begun, but 2024 was going to bring maturity in that healing and point you in the way that you should go. And he was going to give you the courage to step up to do what you needed to do, to get, throw off the things that were holding you back, to the courage to step up and be what he called you to be, maybe make tough decisions, whatever the case may be, do some inventory, see if these things are lining up. The ability to run, to keep going, even when you want to stop, to push through. Again, that endurance factor, and the freedom to walk out your faith in a unique way. And so I hope that 2024 was all of that for you. And as we read through those things, those descriptors and those things that I felt God had said about 2024, I hope that you feel encouraged, that you're not alone. I can appreciate the tiredness at the end of the year. And again, with an epic year like that, it doesn't mean it was all bad. It was all trials. It was all stress. It means that there was a lot There was a lot going on in 2024. I know personally there was a lot going on in 2024, and maybe for you there was as well. And so we get to the end of the year and you're ready to turn the page, but you're fatigued. You feel like you can't think straight. You can't make a decision. You're forgetful. And that's kind of where I am right now. And the Lord has just been saying you need rest. And sometimes he will force us to get rest. Okay, our bodies will force us to get rest. We will get sick. We will not be able to keep going, and we have to stop. And so it's important that we get rest. And when you think about this, think about Elijah, think about Jesus and all that they needed to do. They needed rest, right? Elijah was so taxed with all that he went through, and he had to just lay down and sleep and eat and get his rest. And we know that Jesus rested a lot, right? He was God in a human body, and so he had to conform to the human body and the limits of the human body. And so therefore, he needed rest, and he set the standard for us. He would remove himself from the disciples for periods of time so that he could get rest. Ministry is taxing. We can't do it 24/7 every day of the week and expect to hold it up to survive. We need to stop and we need to rest. So I want to encourage you in that it's okay. We don't have to jump on the wagon and say, oh, it's 2025 and now I need to set goals and I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to get all my Christmas decorations down and I need to blah, blah, blah. It's okay to do things slowly and to be moving slowly in this period of time as you're regrouping, as you're focusing on what happened in 2024. Reflecting is the word I was looking for. Okay? There's no need to rush. Rest and reflect on all that God did in 2024, the good, the bad, the in-between, all right? There will have been great things. There will have been things that were discouraging and hard, but knowing that God was bringing breakthrough from it. God was teaching you to be heroic. God was teaching you to throw off the things that were hindering you. God was teaching you to have courage to step up, freedom to walk out your faith in a unique way, unique to you, okay, and your gifts and talents. So I wanted to just quickly take a few minutes and really reflect on 2024, community-wise, nation-wise, globally. What are all the things that were happening in our world in 2024 that made it epic, that made it unique? And I'm going to be preaching on this on the 12th of January, but I'm putting a little bit of this into this podcast today. And so when we look at what happened in 2024 in the world or in our nation, these are some of the things that we could look at as epic and took some heroism. So first of all, the United States it was an election year. And for the second time only in our nation's history, we have a president who has been elected for a second term that is non-consecutive. So we have a 45th and a 47th president in Donald Trump. And the last time that happened was in the 1800s with Grover Cleveland from 1885 to 1889, and then 1893 to 1897. All right, so that's extraordinary, right? That's, something that is unique. Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl for the second year in a row. So they won in 2023, won in 2024. They also won in 2020. So in the last 5 years, they've won it 3 times. And so that takes a lot of endurance and courage and heroism to do that. New York Yankees didn't win the World Series, I just say that because it seems like the Yankees are always winning. But here we have the Yankees and the Dodgers come from a 5-0 deficit in Game 5 to win the World Series. So that took some heroic effort. It took some courage, some endurance on the Dodgers' part to battle back from that 5-0 deficit. There was an assassination attempt on a former president. It's not something we see every day. and that there was some heroism on the part of Donald Trump and all of those around him when that all occurred. The world saw a solar eclipse, or a lot of the world was able to view a solar eclipse. Not something that you see every day, but we were able to witness that in 2024. Extreme weather. We had Hurricane Helene, which was devastating and took some heroic efforts on behalf of workers and civilians to survive, to help others, to battle extreme weather. And we had other extreme weather incidences as well. We had the Olympic Games. Olympic Games took place in Paris, and that's always something that's pretty extraordinary. We had some controversy around that. So that was something that took place in 2024. We continue to have war in the Middle East. We continue to have the conflict in the Ukraine. We did see an end to the Assad regime in Syria, and that took some heroic efforts on the parts of individuals to fight to get the end of that. So we saw that happen in 2024. Back to elections. Did you know this? In more than 60 countries, there were elections this year. So 50% of the world's population went to the polls in 2024. I would say that's epic. Caitlin Clark, another athlete, basketball, my favorite sport, all-time leading scorer. She played for, who did she play for? Iowa. And she surpassed, she's a woman, but she surpassed the all-time leading scorer men's points that was held by Pete Maravich, 3,667 points in her career. And now she is playing for the WNBA, Indiana Fever, and is breaking records as a rookie. So another thing that was epic. And I'm sure I'm missing some things. Please, comment, put in the comments some things that you saw that you felt were epic, that were extraordinary, that were heroic, that required endurance. Comment on those things, please, in the comment section. This is on Facebook. This is on YouTube. All right. So again, personally, you may have felt the longness of this year. Would it ever end? And can I finally flip the page? And now that we're here we flip the page to the new year. Take some time to reflect, take some time to refresh, to renew your mind, like Jesus did, his example. Transitioning sometimes can be hard, even when it's the end of one thing that you really want to be done with and the beginning of something that you are, looking forward to. The transition period can be hard because, like I said, you may be exhausted from 2024, and it's okay to take some transitioning time in this beginning month of January of 2025 as you reflect and you rest. And then you become energized for what God wants to do in 2025. And, hold fast to the good memories that 2024 had and begin to let go maybe of some of the negative things that occurred. But also, what did God show you through those things? How have you become a stronger believer? How have you become a more mature person? How have you become a better communicator? How have you become, stronger in your faith? Just some things. And you can begin to write these things down. I encourage you to journal as you're reflecting back on 2024 of all that God has done, what he has done for you, done in you, and begin to just embrace the person you are now. Compared to what you were at the end of 2023, you're a different person now, and God is going to, be calling upon you to be fruitful in 2025. So I just want to encourage you today, and I think the key words here are to reflect and rest as we gear up for 2025. And I will be doing a podcast on what God has shown me for 2025 real soon. and also be looking for my sermon, which will be spoken on the 12th, but probably won't be posted for a couple weeks. So my next podcast may be out before that. But just be mindful that's coming as well, and feel free to comment. All right, on how you're feeling, how you're doing, maybe some of the ways that you saw 2024, how it was epic for you, how it required heroism, how it taught you endurance. You don't have to go into specifics, but would love to hear from you. All right, so God bless you, reflect, and rest.